Good evening, everybody. Today I'm doing a special report on Nvidia Corp for 2/22/2018. First off, let's start off with some basic information. Ticker is NVDA. It's primarily traded on the NASDAQ. Current price is $242.15. 10-day average volume is 22.50 mil. 52-week high and low is $95.17 to $251.97. Next earnings date is 5/7/2018. Ex-dividend date is 2/22/2018. Dividend amount is 15 per share. Earnings per share is $4.83. Price earnings is $50.17. Revenue is 9,714 mil. Gross profit margin 59.93%. Net profit margin is 31.36%. Return on equity is 46.04%, which I like tremendously. So let's start off by looking at a weekly 4-year chart. For the longest time, from long as I've been a trader, I know when I used to trade back in 2012 Nvidia, it was always below 20. And by 2015, it started moving up a little bit. And I wouldn't say it was the best in the chip maker sector, but of course, right after their AI chips and have really cornered the market and massive amount of innovation. And of course, gaming has grown tremendously since the beginning of this decade. And then you throw in cryptocurrency. I mean, Nvidia has been a beast. You can see 2016, we were starting to move up, but this is when we really started moving up. And if you kind of realize, I mean, think of Bitcoin. I mean, you have people have rooms of massive computers and using chips like crazy just to mine the stuff. And not only you have Bitcoin now, you have Ripple and Ethereum and all these other cryptocurrencies that are just really taking off and are highly tradable, especially in South Korea and of course in the United States. And right here we took off, and each earnings report has just been stellar. It's been killer, and we've been in a massive uptrend. And if you can see, we keep testing this upper V band, and it always kind of fools me because I always want to pull back. Something like this happens, and we're like, okay, finally, people are going to take some profit. And sure enough, some institution or some big orders come in, or selling gets diminished, and it just keeps taking off, and it doesn't stop. Right here, it did have a pullback into December right before earnings, and I believe it was the last right Christmas week and the week before it had that down. I think it was down 7% in here. Those are those two candles, but it bounced off 180 here, and then it just didn't stop. And of course, this was these two big bars. I'll show you better on the weekly 1-year chart. Was that massive sell-off and into earnings, and originally it dropped. The whole market was dropping, but of course, you could get a killer deal. If you notice, it keeps bouncing right off its average. Okay, it doesn't even go into the bottom channel. So I would be worried if I was long this position if we started seeing the price of 176.95. If we start moving, I doubt we'll break 190 anytime soon. And if you can see right now, it tested a new 52-week high this week, and I believe it was 251 and some change. And of course, it spilled a little bit, and I think it's going to consolidate a little bit between 230 and 250 before the next breakout. I think we might have some consolidation right here, move down a little bit, and then take off again. It's probably my favorite chip maker, best in the chip maker category. I mean, you have AMD, Intel, and MU, and I mean, I would rather own Micron compared to AMD and Intel, but definitely Nvidia over all of them. I mean, you have this parabolic curve that has taken off, which has got ahead of itself. Yes, but when you're talking about a tradable asset, sometimes the fundamentals are so good, it has gone a little ahead of itself, but it doesn't matter. If people keep pumping it up, it's going to keep going up if no one's selling. So, I mean, if you've been long a long time, maybe take a little bit off the table, but leave your core position straight up. It just be careful shorting this stock because this will burn you. I know a lot of people, this is like, reminds me of how Amazon was a few years back, where people would try to get short it, make a few percent, and then boom, it'd go up 16%, and then you're down on your position. And if you were on margin, well, you're going to get burned. So I wouldn't bet against it. Not my cup of tea, especially I wouldn't be playing put options. And if you are shorting this or playing put options, you do it in a fast fashion. Like here's a daily. Like here's a prime example where usually when this gap's down, most of the time if it doesn't continue going down, it bounces up and has these big candles during the day. So you can scalp these opportunities. And the same thing like right here. I mean, if you shorted after it broke the resistance on the day, and if you look at options, most likely it had to test at least 240. It went actually down a little bit more. So right here, if I was playing calls, I would be probably getting in on this reversal bar around 240 and 50.50, somewhere right around right here. I found it right here, and then I probably, with all honesty, would have got out right about here. It would have fooled me, but of course, sometimes I like for it to test its upper band, but depending on market conditions, I mean, if you would have wait too long, then you got to worry about, especially I play weekly options, so you're worrying about theta burn like crazy, especially since today was Wednesday, and tomorrow you only would have 2 days before expiration. So let's look at the close here. Good green volume, so I already know from after hours it was at, I think, 243 something, so it already broke this upper resistance, and now it's going to become support in the morning. So tomorrow I'm going to really be watching, depending on market conditions, if we can break this 245. We break this 245, this is the resistance I want to watch. I don't think for this week, I don't think we can see 250. Could be fooled. It depends if we shatter through that resistance, but I would be cautious where if I were playing at open and we got 243 and we might get a little pullback, this holds, boom, I would definitely plan a position where I'd buy at 242 and 42 cents and sell somewhere between here if I didn't have a confirmation of a breakout, especially if this keeps trying to retest this level for tomorrow. But for the long future, if you're investing, I still think it's good. I think we could get to 300 by summer. I know that could be a little bit aggressive, but it's definitely possible. SoftBank's behind this. They buy it like crazy. They got a position. I mean, it's just the best in the industry. Gaming chips, so you got that on your side. Then crypto chips, I mean, they're flying off the shelves. Their last earnings report was just killer. I mean, but the only thing is there's so much expectation going into every earnings report now that it could get pulled back after earnings, but it always bounces back, at least the last year. And I mean, it was one of the best performing stocks last year. Here's some weekly options just to see. So if you were playing options this at least today, you'd have to worry about theta burn. Look, even the calls lost and the puts at the same time. So I would be extremely careful. I would rather just play it right out, buying the shares or shorting with margin. I wouldn't even play weeklies unless you're experienced with options. You can get burned. Been there, done it. And that is all I got. So I gave a Walla Street investment rating of 4.9 stars out of 5, just because it's a really good business. Possibly is overvalued, but really I think the price it's still justified right around here, and it's still, if you're buy it on a dip if you can. If it's down at 230, I would grab some. It's nice to have in your portfolio. It's well balanced. If you're going to buy something risky, I mean, the dividend's not great, but at least you get a dividend. And I mean, you would have made, I believe, 90-something% on the stock year over the last year. And before that, if you got in early, you're just making it. And it's got room to grow with AI. Their AI technology, they're the front runners, and they got a lot of partnerships this year. So they are on full steam ahead, and I don't see anything really slowing in their business. The only thing is we're watch crypto every day for the chip makers just to see what new bands come out and stuff like that. But right now, it's one of the old philosophies. Who got rich off of the California gold rush? It was all the people that sold the shovels and the supplies. Well, guess what? Nvidia is selling all the supplies to these crypto traders and crypto miners and everything else like that. So not everybody's going to get rich off of trading Bitcoin. They're going to find the hard way where trading up and down losses, or oh man, I was up 2,000% and now you're back down and you still made 200. Just be wise, don't be a pig, don't get slaughtered, be smart. But like I said, Nvidia, it's like an off bet on crypto, in my opinion. Safer, especially if you're an actual investor and just not a trader. So that's my analysis, and hope you guys enjoyed. Have any questions, you can contact me at wallastreetinvestment@gmail.com. Guys, have a good night.